Word Balloon, celebrating 16 years of excellence for you.
Every part of comics and artwork is a form of communication with other people. It's not just here, let me direct my thoughts at you as a dictation of concept, but it's hoping to convince you of how cool you think a visual could be or a story could be. And you're trying to communicate ideas. In one part storytelling, in greater part just graphic impact, you're hoping to relate a sense of energy, urgency, and enthusiasm to people. That there's a lightning of spirit that comes out of superheroes that has always worked for me. That it isn't really about the practicality of what they might do. It's not the practicality about grown men punching each other in costumes. It really isn't about that. It's a visual metaphor. And that metaphor could be for a lot of things, but it's mostly just about the energy and enthusiasm that can be found in the fun of life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's time again for Word Balloon Live, the comic book conversation show. John Suttress here, welcoming back John McCrea. It's good to see you, John.
Good to see you too, John. Hope you're well.
You too, buddy. We're unfortunately talking when news has just broke about one of the very cool people of the comic culture. Jesse Ham has passed away. And
Yes, I was just apologizing before the show started to John about the fact that I might not be just quite as upbeat and full of beans as I normally would be, because I'm a bit shook up about the news, which was only just broken about Jesse's passing. And you know, he wasn't a guy I knew well. I'd only met him once when I went to his studio, Helioscope Studios in Portland, a couple of years back. But I knew him online, and I knew his artwork, and I loved his artwork. I loved his generosity with his ideas and his knowledge, and so it's a real blow. And I mean, these things are always like this, where it just seems to be bloody buses, where just people. There's been a stream of people, friends, and people I know and respect, passing away over the past while, and it's starting to get it's a little bit depressing, to say the least. And so my thoughts are with Jesse's family, and at the moment, so I may not be just quite as jumpy and jolly as I could be, John. I apologize for that.
No, I understand, John. It's a sad time, man. Again, a couple of weeks ago, we lost John Paul Leon as well.
Yeesh, I know, yes.
It's been a sad month. It really has,
Yeah, I mean, yes, both have been fairly right body blows, and both fellas, excellent, wonderful artists, and both who I'd only met once, each of them, but they just seemed like terrific folks when I did meet them, just really nice folks, and both passed away far too bloody young. I mean, it's just grim.
Yes, no, sad stuff, man. Absolutely, and great guys. Yeah. I had nothing but pleasant experiences with both men, and it's like I said. I mean, and also just the weird year that we've had. It doesn't help that everyone's been dealing with, and people we've lost this year as well. So
mental health not it's tip top with all this going on, and then when such good folks pass away far too young, it's a right blow, for the whole comics community, of course.
No question, man. Yeah. John, and forgive me, are you still in Ireland, or where are you at?
No, I haven't lived in Ireland for 35 years or so, I
Okay, I'm
think.
sorry. Yeah.
No, don't apologize. It's a compliment because it shows I've still got my accent, which
Oh, yeah.
that's. I live in Birmingham in England, and no disrespect to Birmingham in England, but it's one of the accents that I would not wish to have. It's there's several, and the way you can pick up certain things, certain bits of accents and things like that. And I hope, even with my 35 years here, I haven't picked up any Brummie at all, except perhaps to say Boston occasionally, and that's not Boston in the US. It's Boston spelled Bostin. I think I got that right, which means excellent or superb. Boston. That was Boston.
Oh, I like that.
So,
That's a good idiom. I like.
yeah, it's that one is a good one, and I like that one. But yeah. I mean, my three kids, anytime any of them sort of looked like they were going to start picking up any Brummie, I got out the tire iron and gave them a whack around the head. I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking. I was but I did sort of fairly dissuade them from trying to speaking any Brummie. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up the accent. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do miss Belfast in Northern Ireland, where I am originally from, and I've been contemplating moving back once my kids are out of school.
I understand for sure.
Still a little bit away, retiring. Birmingham is basically the centre of England. You cannot get further from the sea than to live in Birmingham, and I miss the sea. I miss being near the sea. I don't have to be like right there beside it. I don't have to be able to look out the window and have the waves splashing in my face. But just to know that I could maybe go for a 5-minute bike ride and there at the seaside. That's what I miss. As well,
John, I grew up in suburban Chicago. My town, Wilmette, was right on Lake Michigan.
Oh,
and
nice.
and much like yourself, I mean, I was in the center of Wilmette, but close enough that a bike ride I could be there. And even now, living back in the city, I'm 5 minutes away from the shores of Lake Michigan, and there's nothing better than from the spring to the fall being able to be, even on one of the Great Lakes as opposed to the ocean and everything. So it's nice.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not called the Great Lakes for nothing.
Absolutely, they're big enough.
So you may as well be by the sea. Yeah, and it's a great time. I do love.
Oh God, absolutely, man. And also I even like just taking a book with me, and that's why I was going to ask you why I asked about Ireland, and sitting alongside the lake and everything. And I was going to ask because I was talking to Deck Shelby last week, and Deck was telling me that as far as and truly part of the reason I bring it up is obviously everyone wants to know how we're handling COVID and everything. And have you had a chance to get both your vaccinations yet?
I've had my first, and my second one is due in a couple of weeks. So great. Yeah, I mean, the UK program has been pretty efficient actually. After our government made a bit of a balls of everything at the start, they seem to be attempting to look after us now, as they were meant to, and. So they do see from that point of view. At any rate, I mean, I don't trust my government at all, but on this level, they do appear to be doing something right there. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I've got my second vaccination due, and I had no ill effects from the first one. I have heard it's the AZ I'm getting, and I have heard that on the second jab, perhaps you get a bit of ill effect on that, but we shall see. I mean, and let's face it, it's better than COVID.
I understand. Tomorrow is my 2-week period post-vaccination, so that's great. Okay. I had Pfizer, and I was just tired for about a day and a half, and that was fine. I mean, I could still function, and I could do errands, and even I could have podcasted, but I chose not to, just in case.
Right.
I felt
You just took a break from operating the forklift for a few minutes.
exactly. My backhoe went fine. Exactly. I could operate heavy machinery. So yeah, let's see. Oh, and I'm an Englishman in San Diego, one of my favorite guys. He's like,
Leonard is awesome. Yes.
oh, I don't know. Oh, they're saying there might be a little choppiness on your end as far as sound, and I hope not. I hope everyone, let me know, folks, if there's any issues with the sound. I mean, I'm hearing a little something, but I assumed it was my
the camera.
No, and I don't think it's the camera. John, I'll tell you. Would you mind like unplugging and replugging in your earphones, or like is your mic on your laptop, or is it?
You're talking to somebody who has zero grasp of technology. What I have here is my mobile phone, and that's it.
Okay. Well,
no earphones.
Is it an iPhone or is it an Android phone?
I don't know.
You don't know? It's an Apple. Is it an Apple phone, or you don't know if it's an Apple phone? Because there's
it is a Samsung. I just read it.
Okay, so then it's an Android. Would you do me a favor? Because maybe would you sign back out and then re-sign in because you're a little choppy. I thought it was my speaker, but we're hearing a little sound problem, and we maybe be able to fix it.
Just leave and then sign back in.
Yeah, leave and come back in. All right, that's cool. John's taking care of that. Thanks, everybody, because I assumed it was my speaker and was messing with my my cords because sometimes you step on a cord and you screw it up or whatever. But we'll get John back on. It's cool. So thank you, Len, for noticing that, and Adam also noticing it, and Wayne. Thank you, guys. Hope everybody's good. I'm doing fine. And like I said, tomorrow, 2-week grace period ends, so I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a great week on Word Balloon. Erica Schultz is going to be on tomorrow night, and Ed Pisker on Friday. John's coming back. We'll see how John is now. Hang on, John. Say something, John. Keep talking.
How am I sounding a little less ridiculous now?
No, unfortunately, it's kind of choppy again, John. I don't know what it is. When we spoke last year, this is great because this is why people tune in. It's like talking to the cable guy. I have a black bar on 11 and 2.
They really want to know how bad I am with technology and how little I know.
Were you on your iPhone last year, or you're on your cell phone when we spoke last year?
No, I wasn't. But unfortunately, I was borrowed a laptop, and unfortunately, I can't borrow the laptop at the moment. So
I understand.
How bad am I?
Well, it's kind of I mean, all right. People are saying muddle through. It's okay. I will, and I'm happy to do it if people don't mind. But John, honestly, would be happy to if you prefer, and have a nice clean one for the audio audience as well. I can call you on the phone and we could or Skype. I can call you via Skype, and it might sound better. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, we can still talk for the purposes of the video audience, but I mean, depending on your week and how you've got things scheduled, I'm happy to talk to you. I'm trying to think of my schedule. I can talk to you tomorrow afternoon, conceivably, or Friday afternoon as well. So whatever works from an audio standpoint.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, and again, we can continue talking now video-wise. I just, knowing that, from a listening standpoint, if it's just audio, I can see people going, I'm not going to listen to this. It's, right now, it's like we're shortwave, and it's during the war. So, yeah,
Okay.
How are things with the Channel Islands?
Sure. I can do something one of the other days. After it's over, just let me know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll talk off the air. That's fine, man. So
cool.
That's so funny. All right, so let's see here. All right. Oh, and Len's like, I'm over obligating you. It's totally to your convenience, John. You don't have to come back, but I'm just saying if you want to broaden the word beyond the video audience, you know that.
I'm an easy guy. Yeah, sure. We'll talk after.
All right, buddy. You got it, man. Anyway, the reason why you're here is, of course,
couple great projects that you got going on, and one is a Kickstarter campaign that's underway for Dead Eyes, a Dead Eyes art book. Tell us about
That's right. Yes, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm doing another Kickstarter, and this time it's the, like you said, the Dead Eyes art book, which is basically a repackaging of the first 4 issues of the Image comic Dead Eyes, which Jerry Duggan and I have been doing, only presenting it in an oversized black and white, unlettered format, basically for the art aficionados who might care less about my artwork, perhaps, the ones that do. We're presenting it alongside Jerry's scripts. It's the entire 4 issues, so it's a big book, and we're presenting it alongside Jerry's scripts so that people can see where I may have sort of taken liberties with Jerry's script or what have you, or how Jerry changed. Because Jerry works to a degree the Marvel way. He does fully script things, but then when he gets the artwork, he does his second lettering pass and redialogues everything. So you get this, if you get to see the script as was before Jerry's second lettering pass. So that's kind of interesting.
That's great.
I've just been looking over the PDF for the book, which is nearly done. Just some, tweaks, and I was surprised at how radically Jerry had changed some of the dialogue. From the point of view that at certain pages he had just removed all the dialogue completely. Like there's one specific page where he just obviously decided that my artwork told the story well enough or more than adequately, perhaps, that he didn't need to put any dialogue at all in. And when you see that and you think, gosh, that's really sort of flattering that the writer has enough respect for the artist's craft and ability that he just goes, yeah, you take this page and just fly. It's all yours. So that was nice to see. And also alongside the scripts, we also have a commentary. I do a commentary on my thought processes and how I approach the page, and maybe art materials I possibly used, if I used reference, and blah, blah, blah. And I just think my analysis of how I went about it. And sometimes it's quite in-depth, and for other pages it just says a page. Generally because I probably hated drawing that particular page, and so I just don't even want to think about it. And then, of course, no art book's complete without some of my conceptual stuff and also my layouts. And with Dead Eyes, the first 4 issues of Dead Eyes, and especially the first issue, I think the first issue took me 3 months to draw, which for me is pretty bad. I mean, I used to pencil 2.5 pages a month. 2.5 issues a month. Back when I was young, and now to be penciling and inking 1 comic in 3 months is quite the thing. So, but a lot of it was me sort of not being satisfied with what I was doing and scrapping pages and starting again. So you get to see some of the pages that I've scrapped, and just you get to see a lot of my build up to the finished panel and how I drew a figure and then went not quite right and then redrew it, but then chipped away at it like a sculptor with a big block of marble and just blattering away at it with the hammer and the chisel and hoping that something comes out of it. And so yeah, you get all that, and occasionally I tell a joke or two and make a pithy commentary, and we've got Ryan Hughes who's doing the design work on it, so that it will look good. So yeah, it's a nice book, and it's only comes in hardback, oversized, and it'll be clocking in at around 220 pages or so.
Wow,
something like that. So yeah, it's a chunk of a book.
I understand, but I was looking over my trade of Dead Eyes, and I like the process stuff you have in there. But this sounds great, and honestly, I think it's terrific that you guys all create these. That the trend in creating creator-owned comics is to provide that kind of process information, which obviously is a great textbook for aspiring creators to kind of see how you solve problems.
I guess so. Yes, I mean, I would never deem to dare to think that perhaps people could learn from me, but maybe they could learn how to do it better, perhaps. And yes, sorry about the choppy sound, folks.
Yeah. Well, we're just letting people, because I'm seeing new people pop in, so I just want to let them know. It's like, yeah, we know. Sorry, man. We're muddling.
Yeah. That's very
cool. That's not that Shelby. That was last week.
So, but yes, I mean, the part that Jerry and I had talked about doing an art of Deadeye's book, and presenting the artwork in black and white, mainly because Deadeyes is such a noir sort of book, and you do tend to typically think of noir as black and white. And I mean, anybody who's looked at Deadeyes knows that the coloring on it is superb. Mike Spicer is a great colorist, and I'm working with him again on Swamp Thing as we say. Well, yeah. So, but and we had talked about it, but we had to do it a little bit sooner than we had possibly hoped, because basically, and I can't talk about it, but I will intimate to the fact that Jerry and I had some issues with things in our creation and publishing of this comic, and that is sort of still hanging over our heads to a degree. And so this art book is also, by Kickstartering it, I'm raising a bit of money so that I can afford to finish drawing the next arc. I don't even know if I'm saying too much. Anyway, so
we can leave it at that. And I noticed on Amazon that the solicitation for Volume 2 is for next year. So, and there's John.
Well, that'll be for the book, won't it? That'll be for the volume trade. 2. That'll be the
volume 2 trade. Yes.
Yeah, that tracks. We're hoping to launch late this year the first issue of the new arc of Deadeyes. All, God willing and all that crap.
I kind of figured. Sure.
I mean, I have done a good chunk of the arc. We just, Jerry and I just need to get on with the rest of it. And I'm going to wrap up this Kickstarter, and then by which point I will have finished Swamp Thing as well, and then crack on with Deadeyes.
Okay. Regarding Swamp Thing, is it going to be? Is it a full arc, or is it going to be one issue?
No. It's just a single issue.
Okay,
Mike Perkins, who's the regular artist on it, needed a little bit of time. I mean, if you've looked at Swamp Thing, and he is going all out on the artwork, it's amazing, and I'm not quite sure how he's even managing anything resembling a monthly schedule. It's so I'm just filling in for the one issue, and it's a kind of standalone one anyway, kind of a chapter break between arcs. But I'm lucky because I get to draw Swamp Thing and Constantine meeting up, and these are two characters I've never drawn Swamp Thing, and
wow.
everybody loves Swamp Thing. Let's face it. I mean, it's only slightly intimidating as far as the stable of writers and artists who have come before me goes.
Oh, God,
yeah, you've got Kelly Jones, you've got Wrightson, you've got Total Laban, you've got Bissett, you've got Yates, you've got
Veach.
Mind blown. Phil Hester.
Absolutely, Phil Hester. Yes, indeed. Here I've even got loaded. It was my Monday was my 16th anniversary for Word Balloon, and I did an anniversary show, and people have asked me to show. Thank you, buddy. People wanted me to show various commissioned art that I have on the walls, and I have shown those before, but a lot of ones that I haven't framed yet. And we mentioned Swamp Thing. Here's a Hilary Barta Swamp Thing.
Yeah, great. I did. God, I thought it was Phil Hester because it's so small on my screen, and the graphic black and white of it. I thought it was Phil, but yeah, Hillary's excellent. Yeah, I do love his stuff on that Alan Moore story he did. That my mind is.
Splash Brannigan, of course.
Splash Brannigan loves his work. And Splash Brannigan.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's great. He's great. I wouldn't say it was collaborating, but he did covers for my Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters 2 issues I did for DC.
Yes, I forgot about that, man. That's absolutely, yes. Hill and I talked about that.
Many people have tried to forget about it. It's true.
Oh, stop it. No, that was a lot of fun. And really, the idea behind that Convergence, the offshoots of Convergence, no disrespect to the people who did the main story, but the fun issues were things like Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters, and everybody that worked on, Rucka did a question thing, and Gail Simone, I know, did a great, I want to say, Wonder Woman thing. I mean, no, they went. That's where we got the genesis of Superman and Lois again being married and having John Kent and that whole. I mean, so there were a lot of fun things that came from that. And yeah, man, no, those are good. I totally forgot that you drew it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great time drawing that, and I'm a big Freedom Fighters fan. I mean, I love Plastic Man, obviously, but I mean, when you're competing against Cole and Kyle Baker, you're in trouble. So
and Hillary, for that matter, too, yeah. Hillary had his Plastic Man run back in the day.
Of course. I
don't know if you can see the comment because you're looking on your phone, but Hillary is saying, I'm blushing. John's Plastic Man and Freedom Fighters art is amazing. So he's watching this.
Bless you, sir. Dear God. Yeah, but it was a fun book. I mean, I got to draw Nazis and the human bomb and, Phantom Lady and,
yes,
it's,
Sam.
I mean, Dollman has always been a particularly tricky character to draw, just because he's Dollman, and trying to draw Dollman and not just you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. That's hilarious, and it was always like all these really cool characters and Dollman.
And Dollman. Sorry, Dollman.
Phantom Lady had to be fun. I love Phantom Lady's amazing. And again, just like Swamp Thing, the great artists that drew Phantom Lady over the years, starting with Matt. Shame on me. I'm blanking on Matt's. The Golden Age.
Don't even ask me. I have now got to the stage where
Matt Baker.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Sorry, what?
Matt Baker. I did think. Oh, of it.
Sure, of course.
Shame on us, but yes, that's all right. Yes. Slot and I named.
Well, he was a consummate good girl artist, wasn't he? Was Matt?
Oh my God, yes.
And Baker and as much as Hillary was very complimentary to my work, drawing a sexy lady is my kryptonite. It really is. I struggle. And as my younger brother Jasper often says to me, John, for Christ's sakes, you're working in comics. Can't you figure out how to draw attractive women? Because that's practically the first thing you should learn if you're going to work in comics. And I'm just like, I try, Jasper. My brother is one of my worst critics. But you do need that. You do need that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If your brother can't talk straight to you, who can? That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hilarious, man. You're killing me. So, honestly, it's shocking to learn that you hadn't drawn Swamp Thing before, because I would think the aesthetic is kind of in your wheelhouse.
It's totally in my wheelhouse. It's I'm sitting drawing this issue and going, as much as I love drawing like Spider-Man and what have you, and all that sort of stuff, this sort of niche genre is really my wheelhouse entirely. So it is. This is where my art lies most comfortably. Drawing brooding, messy, dirty alleyways and mucky swamps. That's me.
I'm with you.
That's me. It's just, for better or worse, that's me. So, it's God, when you can finally sort of face the reality of what your art is, I guess you become a better person for it. But anyway, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. Ram is a superb writer. I'd read these Savage Shores and loved it. And Swamp Thing's great. This issue is so much fun. Getting to draw Constantine and Swamp Thing together. I don't know when the last time they were together is, probably 20 minutes ago or something. But
but also the fact that it's a different Swamp Thing now, and it's not Alec Holland, which is kind of honestly what Ram is doing. I think is excellent, and I'm so excited for him. And as you said too, these Savage Shores really got my attention, and I've been talking much like John, you and I finally having long conversations in the past year. Ram has been a guest a couple times over the year as well. And I think he's a great voice in comics, and I'm glad that he's getting to play with the DC toys, because I think he's telling good stories. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great, isn't he? He's I don't know how many books he's writing for DC, but fair play. He's like you say, he's a distinct and new and needed voice, and that's great. That's and I'm just lucky to be, sort of along for the ride. I mean, I've known Ram and Mike for age. Well, I've known Ram for a while. I've known Mike for a long time. He's originally from the Midlands, where Birmingham, before he moved to Florida. So we used to have a comics meetup, and Mike would come along, and so I've known him for a good old while. And it was just very nice that they both suggested me to do the fill-in. And it's lovely. It's nice to be back at DC. It's been a while, so that's cool.
That's cool. Terrific, man. Absolutely. And of course, you left your footprints there with Hitman and the like. So sure. I think it's cool. One of my patrons wanted to know, and I just want to name check him to make certain that I'm giving him credit for his question. But I did ask. Let's see here. Oh, let me go back. I'm looking online, everybody, for this question.
I'm looking around my phone like an idiot or something.
Oh, no.
Like I'll be able to see it if I look for it.
David Ferguson wanted to know what writers you haven't already worked on or worked with. And we never want you to spoil. So if there's something in progress, John, or even whatever you want to reveal. But, that's kind of a standard question of people, like who'd you like to collaborate with that you haven't had the opportunity to?
There's so many. I mean, this is the problem for artists, is that, there's a lot of terrific writers, and you would like to work with as many of them as possible. But obviously, as a writer, you can work with a whole stable of artists. No, I'm not going to use the analogy at all, actually. But anyway, whereas an artist doesn't get to, unless you're doing just lots of little stories here and there, and then you don't get to do a good long run. So, but guys like, I've known Rick Remender since before he was, for a long time, back in the early days. I've known Rick, and we've always talked about working together, and I've always fancied working with him, and it's just never happened, and don't know if I ever will. I mean, he's a terrific writer, so it'd be great to work with him. Geez, Gail Simone, you mentioned earlier. There's, oh my God. I'm going to insult a lot of people by forgetting half the people I really would like to work with, because, like I said, what did I have for lunch? I have no idea.
And then certainly you artists spend more time working on one book versus a writer who can have several projects in process and work with several writers. So the ratio kind of works against the artist, obviously.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, what you said. So, so yeah. I mean, I guess in a very small way, I have worked with Rick because I did a variant cover for Deadly Class, which
nice.
which was nice to do. I'm a big fan of Deadly Class. It's such a great book. I haven't seen the TV show, but I hear it's pretty good.
It is good. It was a shame
Yeah.
that it did get beyond the one season, but it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
quite good.
that was a pain because I would like to see it, and just knowing that it's not going to progress is a sort of a bit of a sickener. But anyway, yeah. Rick's doing
No, I
fine.
agree. But and it's funny. I was talking to another creator this afternoon, and was pointing out to him because he wasn't sure when his project would see the light of day. It's in development at one of the streamers, and I'm like, the streamers are chewing intellectual properties up, so they're always going to need content. So if you've got to, I mean, like if it's moving forward, I go, other than the possibility of, as regime changes at the top where they may not want to continue to pursue a project left by the other guy, the likelihood is, stuff will get made. And God, I mean, I think it's a great time right now for creators to make their stuff. Is there? And again, maybe this is part of the reason why you can't talk about it. Is there interest in Dead Eyes?
I believe so. Jerry does all the Hollywood stuff because he's a Hollywood guy, and it just leaves me to kind of amble along with my little smile on my face, my la la la, and looking at the Tweety birds and whatnot, and just being happy. So yeah, I'm the innocent artist abroad, and Jerry does all the horrible Hollywood dealings. So apparently, yes, and the thing I've learned over the years of not getting any Hollywood deals is to just not worry about it. Ignore it until I've got the check in the bank and I've got my swimming pool and I've driven my Lamborghini into said swimming pool. Until that point, I'm just not going to believe it's going to happen. And I'm just going to get on. And I'm just going to get on with making comics.
Fair enough, man. That's awesome. No, it's great. Another thing that's in the trade, and I don't know if it'll be in the art book, but I love those photographs that Jerry took of, I'm assuming that was you as Dead Eyes. Am I wrong?
It was me as Dead Eyes. Yes, exactly. Yes. My friend Lizzie Jordan made me the Dead Eyes mask, and it was for the Portland's the Image Expo at Portland when we were announcing Dead Eyes. And I just sort of thought, well, and I looked at a couple of previous Image Expos and gone, it's just a bunch of white guys just talking about just talking about comics. And I thought, I'll just do something to liven things up a little bit and do cosplay. I'll cosplay as Dead Eyes. And that'll be a bit of a giggle, and just make it slightly different. And so yeah, it was good fun. And I use the costume to when I take photo reference occasionally. I'll use it as well. Why not? I've got it right there. So yeah, it's useful, and I have entertained, or I was entertaining the idea of wearing the costume to conventions, to sit behind my booth drawing as Dead Eyes, but COVID came along and nixed any sort of idea of that at the time. So, well,
we'll get back to live events eventually. It's all right, man. So yeah, there's still an opportunity there. I loved the one photograph of him attacking somebody on the phone, and I was like, God, that really looks like. I was gonna say it was going to be a variant cover or whatever,
Yeah, we were planning on doing that. I think something to do with that. Jerry's an excellent photographer, and he's always taking photographs. And so, he's just said to me, "Let's just go out." We were in Derry in Ireland for a wee show there, brilliant show. And Jerry said, just bring your costume along and we'll take some photographs round about Derry. And it was just a giggle. So it was great fun. Yeah, just pretending to beat the tar out of somebody in a phone box and having random girls stop us in the streets and sort of want to pose with us for, because they were a bit drunk. And so it was good fun. It's random crap like that is always fun. It stops you going insane behind your drawing board, I guess.
It was terrific, man. No, and really, I'm really excited for the second arc when you guys are ready to start releasing it. It's going to be great, and it's a terrific story.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely, man. And I in fact, us talking or planning to talk today reminded me that I haven't bothered Jerry. I know Jerry had, even in the pre-COVID months, he had some rough times recently as well, and on a personal level. And I'd see him at C2E2 or New York or whatever, and I'm like, hey man, come back. And he's like, yeah, kind of bad time, but we'll get to it and everything. And I know we will. I love Jerry. Jerry's a terrific guy, and really, Remender is the man who put us together, Jerry, and also Brian Posehn as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Rick was a big sort of Dead Eyes booster at the start too.
That's
for
great.
us. And Kirkman were like just really. It was nice at the Image Expo, just sitting down for a meal with those three, and feeling like the odd man out to a degree, but it was very. They're terrific fellas and very supportive of the comics industry, and so yeah. I'm having a blast with Dead Eyes when I am getting to work on it, and like I said earlier, it's more of my sort of thing. When Jerry presented the idea to me early on, I was like, because he had been showing me various ideas that he had, and just sort of saying whatever takes your fancy. When I saw that one, I was just like, yeah, that's the book I would like to do.
When he would show you story ideas, did he have visuals included, or did
no,
the visuals?
No. It was just a very basic sort of rough plot synopsis, sorry, I've just been getting the please finish at 9 o'clock.
Oh, no problem. Don't worry.
If that's okay with you, John. Yeah,
yes. No. If that's Mrs. McCrea, let her know that's fine with me. It's quite all right. So.
You might be right. You might be right. Jerry would just present little shorts, sort of synopsis or of the story. Nothing at all really. Just the bones, bare bones of the idea. And
I'm bringing up. Actually, I should bring up the Kickstarter page, and maybe that would be. But regardless. Let me start by showing the one image that I used to promote this episode and everything. What I like about Deadeye's look is, and in fact, even as much in the photograph as well, it reminds me of other characters, like even from the DC universe, Wildcat, where it really is kind of a very basic kind of real world outfit, and even the mask. And again, in your photographs, and they really show this kind of homemade approach to conceal his identity. And I love that as well in the narrative of the story itself. I love that there's that one scene where it's like, yeah, Superman carries his clothes around in a pouch in his cape, and I got to carry my stuff in the trunk next to the golf clubs or whatever. Hilarious. That was terrific, man.
Yeah, no, that's just Jerry for you. That's Jerry for you. I mean, Jerry's idea was the cap, the suit, and a mask of some form. And I honestly, I've said this before. I was very dubious about the mask working with a cap, the duncher, and I was just like, yeah, well, I couldn't until I drew it, I couldn't visualize it, and then I drew it and went, "Oh yeah, that actually does work really well." Yeah, kudos to Jerry for that. I don't know if there are many other superheroes with flat caps. Not sure. Maybe
Yeah, that I don't know either. But yeah, again, it really works, and it works for the story, and I think it gives them a great look. And
yes,
no, it's
yes.
it's again, yeah, I love the story, and I love the way you told it art wise.
Yeah, I mean he's got a very street level feel, like The Question or something like that, and that's what we were after. I wanted a costume that was very iconic looking, and when you break something down to, if you just draw the silhouette of it and then put the symbol on it, like all the best superheroes, their silhouette with their symbol is just so they're iconic, and I wanted that thing. And if you look at the cover for, I think it's issue 2 or 3, where it's him standing in an alleyway, and it's pretty much all silhouette with just the 2 red X's. When I did that cover, I went, yeah, that proves it's a very iconic looking sort of thing. The cap, those little funny tassel ear things, the 2 X's, and just the suit really do sort of scream, nice, iconic, simple, understandable costume. And again, I'm not stupid. Reasonably easy to translate into film of some form, shape, or substance. I mean, Jerry and I would be liars if we were to say that we weren't thinking about or hoping that something will happen on that front. Of course, we'd be liars. I mean, we're not stupid. So yes, there was a certain minor. I mean, I don't like to draw comics and design things with an idea to just thinking about the film or the TV show.
Of course,
that's not really. That's the sort of ass backward way to do things. You design it so that it looks great as a comic, and then hope that film can do it justice.
Yeah.
And the way things are now, it can. But for most parts, I mean, I think most of the successful TV shows and films in the past while have been the ones that have really embraced the comic, have really gone, screw it, let's just make it like the comic. And that includes visually as well.
Yes.
Where they've not sort of gone, well, let's just make the X-Men all wear black leather, and just that's because we can't conceptualize that actually Cyclops could look pretty fucking cool in his actual outfit, go for it, his actual outfit.
Yes.
We can't conceptualize that. Okay, Gambit can never look cool. That's a bad example. Okay, I'm wrong there. Sorry, Gambit fans, but
that like half towel where his hair sticking out like Wally West or whatever back when he was kid.
Honestly, I'm not a Gambit fan, but even Gambit could look cool if they did it well. If they embraced the costume, if they embraced the look.
When they were making the first Avengers movie,
sure,
and some fan with his camera phone was able to catch some random shots, and when they hit the internet, there was a lot of the costume, it doesn't quite look right, and it's like, dumbass, it's somebody using their phone. I guarantee you, the cinematographer and the lighting people and everyone else are going to make it look amazing. Don't judge it when it's on this, and not everyone can be Jerry Duggan. So
let's face it, they probably can even go in with a bit of After Effects and sort of tweak away.
Well, this was 10 years ago before the After Effects that you could do now and stuff. But you're right.
Sure.
You're right. Oh, I thought you meant on the phone. All the apps that they have on the phone now to
oh my god. Yes, you can make your own film. No.
Oh, absolutely. Very true. All right, with the because I want to wrap up because I want to get you out of here by 9. But
thank you.
I know that's all right, buddy. The Kickstarter is doing well. but it certainly could
Yep.
use a boost. I'm gonna, in fact, if it's all right, real fast, I want to share my screen and show people, if they haven't gone to the Kickstarter site, they can see the book here. So that's the proposed look for the book when it's done. And I love that Dead Eyes already has a copy and stuff. And there's that earlier image that we saw, and some great action shots of John and Jerry and fans. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, no, this is, I mean, really, like you said, 200 pages. That's amazing. And it really looks like it's going to be an excellent commentary on the process that you both go through to make the book. And I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
We're all excited.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Yes, I mean, we're about midway through the Kickstarter now. I think, it's funny, isn't it? But it's like buses again. I mean, Declan and I had been talking just before both of his Kickstarter and mine started, and he was like, "Oh God, that's just exactly the sort of thing I'm doing with my Time Before Time."
Yes.
Kickstarter, and so and Dex is going to be amazing, of course, as well when we get it. I backed it for sure, and I mean, he's terrific, and the book looks fabulous, so it does. And of course, it's got the John Paul Leon art print in it too, which is possibly John's last piece of artwork, or I don't know, maybe. But yes, and it did very well. So I'm really pleased that Dex done so well on that. I can hope that maybe we'll sort of marry up and do about the same sort of numbers. So yeah, if anybody wants to have a look at a deep dive into the creation of a comic by me and Jerry, just pop by the Kickstarter page and give it a whirl. I think I am going to be offering a couple of more of the postcard extras. That was the most popular tier that we had, with the postcards, where I just do a postcard sketch of Dead Eyes.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I'm going to be offering a few more of those on, I think, either 10 days from finish or 15 days from finish. I'm not sure quite which one, depending on workload, I think. So yeah, but it's going great, and I really appreciate everybody who's been supporting it so far and sharing it and talking about it, and all the people who have been buying Dead Eyes all along. We've got some hardcore fans out there, and they're wonderful people. And thank you, folks, for all the support and that.
Amen, son. And really, I've got the URL underneath us right now for where people can go to support it. And no, John, as always, it's a pleasure, man. And I'm sorry that it's a rough day losing Jesse Ham as we have, and recently losing John Paul as well.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just so unexpected. I mean, I don't. I just can't imagine. Anyway, yes. But thank you for having us on, John. Really appreciate that. And I guess, and I apologize about the sound quality as well.
John, we'll figure it out for next time. Don't worry about it, bud. It's all good. And truly, and thank you, everyone who was watching, to say, don't sweat it. We understand you enough. Please keep going. And we need that kind of feedback to make sure we're not pissing in the wind. I mean, that's
it's never a smart move to do that. It really is.
but John, all the best, and thank you for doing this. And everybody, thank you for watching us. Take care. And as I end every